terrific rim defender, and he can go fetch it off the glass.
Let's take a look at the other starters for tonight's game, brought to you by Idaho Immunization Program. As we take a look at this here tonight, Coach, and a great battle between these two teams hungry to make it to the semifinals.
We'll keep an eye on Brock Mackenzie for the Bengals. Honorable mention all league. He can really score in bunches. And on the other side, Annan Mooney, between 3 non-division stops, Eastern Oregon, Seattle Pacific, and Point Loma, where he played for a national championship.
All right, Travis DeCure, the head coach at Montana, a guy who trails just Mick Durham and Randy Ray for most wins all time in the Big Sky Conference. Montana with the first possession.
Look for Montana to come out and run a set or two. That family tree that Travis DeCure comes from is a very set-oriented coaching tree.
It's Whitney with the first bucket, a guy that has had 9+ points in each of his last 7 games.
Whitney's coming off a 20-point game in their win over Idaho, his 4th 20-point game of the season. He has been around forever, it seems, with the Grizzlies.
Idaho State, 6th offensively during the season. All 17 major categories, they rank right around the middle. And obviously in the standings, they're in the middle. Brock Mackenzie's been a great addition to this program. There's a jumper by Smaley. It hits nothing, and a stop for the Montana defense.
Well, the Bengals trying to be patient there. They were patient, ended up taking a bad shot, and that was because the Grizzlies were really dialed in their man-to-man defense. The Grizzlies have always been and will always be a program built around their defense.
Goes Bannon. Here's Moody with his first touch. In the lane with the left, but left it short. Smaley the rebound.
Nice rebound by Smaley. Really the starting 3 at 6'5", getting in there long around the big boys to pull that one down.
Montana defensively 3rd in the Big Sky Conference in defensive efficiency. 3rd at defending the 3, but lately even better. Straightaway jumper good from Brock Mackenzie. Brock Mackenzie, 60%, by the way. I know it's a 2-pointer, but 60% from 3 his last 3 games.
You know, he's the leading scorer for the Bengals. Had a terrific game in their upset win over the undefeated Eastern Washington Eagles.
Deshaun Thomas can be a great weapon from the outside. He misses here, and he's scoreless in his last 3 games.
That's hard for me to believe. I watched their shoot-around today, and he has a nice shot, obviously very athletic and big body. How he could play extended minutes in 3 games and not score a point is beyond me.
And they had 16 at Idaho State to lead the team in that victory. Bannon goes over to Martin, who launches for 3. That's no good. Thomas, the rebound putback. Can't get that to go. Montana, by the way, the #1 team in shooting 3-pointers. Here's Mackenzie. Straight on 3, good. Brock Mackenzie, the 6'2 senior from Sammamish, Washington.
Tony, last Saturday when they beat the Eagles, he had 28, and he went 6 of 9 from the 3-point line. Now, their last game, he only had 5 points, but he can get it going in the blink of an eye if you let him get off to a good start, which he has gotten off to a good start.
Another guy who can get it going is Bannon. Here's Whitney. Left angle 3, no good. Deshaun Thomas, the O-board. It goes back to Martin. He's fouled on the take, and he'll head to the free throw line. One thing Montana doesn't do is get to the line a lot. They rank last in free throw rate during Big Sky Conference play.
Even though they lead the league in free throw percentage, they also lead the league in 3-point percentage. And the Bengals can ill afford to leave Whitney out there all by himself. He's not going to miss many like that.
Martin hits this free throw. 14 points, 4 rebounds at Idaho State earlier this season. 86% from the free throw line.
He's second on their team in free throw shooting. This is a team that has been fabulous from the free throw line the last couple years. They broke the school record for free throws in back-to-back seasons. So you want to guard them and not let them get to the line very often.
Here's Braden Parker, guarded by Thomas. Soft double by Martin. Parker goes with the left. It's no good. The loose ball is grabbed by Moody. Here comes Montana. Martin for 3. Got it!
Really nice pass by Annan Mooney there. Annan Mooney is the leading 3-point shooter in the league, but he can do a lot of other things. As you saw him lead the break there, make a real nice pass then to Martin on the wing.
7-5 early. Austin Smalley looking to go into Parker. Held to just 2 points in each of the meetings against Montana. Tomley no good here. Thomas the rebound. Bannon running the floor.
And once again, no easy looks for the Bengals at the offensive end.
Moody the shot fake. The paint break. Bannon the lay-in.
Back-to-back assists for Anan Mooney, the leading scorer on the team, showing you he's much, much more than just a shooter. Really nice quickness off the dribble. Really nice decision-making by Mooney.
A 7-0 run comes to an end because of Brock Mackenzie. Honorable mention, all Big Sky.
Well, not only was that deep, that was contested. His defender was right up in his grill on that one.
A lot of tension already in this building. You can feel the great crowd and the great atmosphere here tonight at Idaho Central Arena. Bannon, a guy who can shoot from out there, 42.2% from 3 on the season. Montana 1 for 4 so far from the outside. They get 1 for 5. Another bucket here.
Parker only a 30% three-point shooter, but obviously you can't leave him standing out there measuring a three. He's got the green light if he's wide open out there to shoot it.
Idaho State with the lead back.
Tony, this is really interesting. Now remember, folks, this is our third day of the tournament, but both these games will be the first game of all 4 of these teams. I thought we may get off to a slow start for about the first 5 minutes and kind of shaking off a little of the jitters and rust. But, boy, these teams are coming out rocking and firing.
Dead even at 11 after the Moody bucket. Parker on the block. Finds a cutting, slicing Nagel, but it's taken away.
Boy, that was a nice play by Martin. I thought that was going to be a sure layup. Really nice pass by Braden Parker out of the post. We're off to a quick start, 11-11 here in the first game of today's Big Sky Conference tournament.
And choose to vaccinate. The Idaho Immunization Program is a proud sponsor of the Big Sky Basketball Championships. We've had some chutes and ladders here so far. A 7-0 Montana run, 6-0 Idaho State run, 11-11.
Well, it's off to a much smoother start than what I anticipated, Tony. I kind of thought both teams would struggle in the first 5 minutes because it's their first game and they haven't played for a couple days. But they both look like they are hitting on most cylinders right now.
Moody steps inside. Bannon into the paint. Moody straight away. And Anan Moody, who has been red hot, scoring 20-plus in 6 of his final 9 games and 50% from 3 during the last 8.
Boy, that was a terrific catch and shoot. I watched him in their shoot-around today. He's got great footwork, and he's got such a great release because of that footwork.
Smalley with the answer. And we're tied back up again.
Austin Smalley has played more games and more minutes than anyone in the history of Idaho State basketball. It seems like he's been around forever and a day.
Martin posting up Bannon. They double from the top. Moody goes for it, but it's picked off. It's Malik Arrington, and Idaho State back on top.
Malik Arrington leads their team in assists. Only a freshman. He's shown terrific promise this year. He had 4 steals versus Eastern Washington when they broke Eastern Washington's 18-game winning streak.
Described as the ball hawk from this team and showed it there.
The thing about him getting steals is he turns them into points at the other end, as you just witnessed. Those are called loose ball turnovers if you're Montana.
The doubling in the post continues. Bannon goes through the double team and scores anyway. The junior from Australia.
Well, the Bengals got caught in a mismatch there after a rotation, and Brock Mackenzie at 6'2", trying to guard the big Josh Bannon at 6'10", and that didn't work out very well for the Bengals. Kobe Lee in the game now for Braden Parker. They rotate those 2 big posts in there. One's 250, one's 240, and they don't lose a whole lot.
Inside, the reverse layup dances off. Colby Lee, the rebound misses. The tap back up and in. Austin Smaley.
And remember, one of my game keys for the Grizzlies was they have got to rebound. They gave up back-to-back offensive rebounds there. They can ill afford to let the Bengals get easy putbacks like that. I'm not sure that was an easy putback. That was what I call doing something hard to get something easy, but that was great offensive rebounding.
Moody no good on the turnaround. Thomas good on the putback.
Speaking of offensive rebounding, then, big Deshaun Thomas with that big body, almost 240 pounds, he carves out a lot of space in and around the basket.
This game, already 5 lead changes 5 times. Here's Colby Lee, the transfer from BYU. Backing deep, turning right. Thomas the block. The loose ball grabbed by Bannon. Whitney running the floor.
Good defense there by big Deshaun Thomas.
Bannon inside, no good. Colby Lee the board.
Bannon giving you a little glimpse of his versatility in offense. He can drive it. He's already shot a three-point shot. He's gotten to the basket with it. Very talented. Speaking of talented, I tell you what, big Brock Mackenzie has got it going.
10 early points already.
Coming off that, not coming off, but the game before last, 28 points against Eastern Washington, where he was 6 of 9 from the three-point line and 9 of 14 overall. When he gets going, he really gets going.
Shot clock running late. Thomas from way outside, no good. Montana has started 2 of 7 from beyond the arc.
Really nice possession of team defense there by the Bengals. Again, a team, and Mackenzie is just hotter than a cheap pistol right now. He looks like he's playing in the rec center all by himself.
5 of 5 from the field, 12 points.
I'd say that's pretty hot, 5 for 5.
That is fantastic. Martin has already hit 1 3. Short on this one. Bannon, the O-board. Moody, a good look. 2 of 9 from outside Montana.
Idaho State's doing a lot of doubling in the post, Tony. Because of that, they have to rotate, and there's going to be times where they're going to be mismatched. They're going to have a small guy on a big guy and vice versa, but their rotations have to be exact, and they have to know where everyone else is on the court. Right now, the Bengals up 4, a quick start for both teams, 22.
And Ryan Looney brought him over to Idaho State, and what an interesting year it's been. He got married this past year. He had a long-distance relationship with his then-girlfriend, now wife, for years before they got married. She moved to San Diego. They got engaged. Spent a year down there. Hectic spring. Graduated, wedding, honeymoon, and then back home for a minute before on to Pocatello. And you know those off seasons, they can be a blur. He settled in really well with this team, and also in this game tonight, he has 14.
Well, 5 of 5 from the field now, 2 of 2 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. His 19th double-figure game of the year. He was only honorable mention all league. He's playing like an MVP right now.
Anan Moody has had MVP moments. He has 7 points so far in this one. Talk about a transfer, finding a wonderful place at home in Missoula.
Anan Mooney, over 1,000-point scorer in his career. This is his 120th game. I tell you what, he can really get it going from the field. The league's leading three-point shooter. He's the 9th leading scorer, and he is also the first in free throw shooting in the league.
Interesting moments here for the second unit of Montana. One of the worst nationally, but they've had 10-plus in 4 straight games. They like the way they've been coming on. Here's a good-look 3 that's long and out of bounds from Daxton Carr.
Daxton Carr, a local kid from Pocatello, Idaho, who went away to Cal Poly and has come back home. Only a sophomore. He is a good-looking small forward, big forward, combo forward. He can play a lot of different positions at 6'7", 210.
Can be a valuable piece off the bench. He had 7 at Montana. That was the most he had in a conference game, matched by his 7 in the win over Eastern Washington. And he's just 2 of his last 16 from beyond the arc.
3 subs in now for the Bengals.
Mac Anderson holding, giving to Moody. He will launch for 3. It runs off the rim. And Montana, the number 1 3-point shooting team in the conference, has 2 of their first 10.
Well, I think you got to credit the Bengals defense, Tony. They have been right up. There has not been a clean look at a 3 yet for the Grizzlies.
A deflection. It's Vasquez. Turn around and give it to Martin. On the baseline, he goes over to Oki. The lead is now down to 2.
Josh Vasquez, what a valuable guy off the bench and has been for a long time for Montana. His 120th game. He's one of those guys, Coach, you want me to start, you want me to sub, you want me to sweep the floor, what do you need out of me? Boy, he's been one of my favorite guys in the league almost all year, and the Grizz, he has got it going.
He was hot earlier this year, cooled down a bit, now heating back up. He had 19.7 rebounds against Montana at home, 4 points, and was just 1 of 5 at Montana. He has a younger brother that committed to Idaho State. He's working on his MBA right now. It's been a great story with Mackenzie to the Idaho State Bengals.
That's Mackenzie's 19th double-digit game of the year. He has 5 games of 20 or more. Let's see if he can keep it going.
Another good look from 3. They were 4 for their first 6, but Arrington is off here. Arrington, just 1 of his last 11 from deep. Before that, he was 8 of 21, so he can get streaky.
Arrington doesn't start, but there's a lot of games he's in at the end, which is the most important. He's played every game with no starts.
Another late shot clock for Montana. Whitney to work on the block. And we're all even at 24.
And that was pretty good individual defense by Tomley there from the Bengals, and Whitney just made a tough runner there. Whitney, a guy that, as I say, has been around a long time for the Grizzlies.
Parker posting up against Oki. Hits it back a 3rd time. Turns with that right hand. It's long. And Bannon down with another rebound.
Boy, that was Braden Parker's sweet spot there, right in front of the rim. A deep, deep post catch there. He won't miss that very often. Like I say, that is where his bread is buttered and has been all year.
Foul is going to be called against Idaho State. This will be their 3rd. Both teams with 3 here. 6:06 left to play here in this first half. Montana has had their way with Idaho State historically, as they have won 24 of the last 25. Travis DeCure 15-1 against the Bengals, his best record versus any other team in the Big Sky. But as we saw yesterday, Northern Arizona had lost 13 in a row to Eastern Washington.
It's hard for me to believe that Idaho State has only won 1 out of the last 25 games against the Grizzlies. In this league that's known for how much parity there is and how many guys at the bottom can beat the guys at the top, 1-24 are the Bengals against the Grizz in the last 25.
Beautiful passing. Thomas is fouled on his way up.
A couple really nice passes there. Nice hands by Thomas, because that didn't bounce up perfectly to him around the waist. That hit him kind of low there.
The way Deshaun Thomas plays, scoreless in his last 3 games, as we talked about before, but this is a guy that shoots 41% from 3 and just under 85% from the line.
He's only missed
jinxed him here.
He's only missed 7 free throws all year. Let's make that 8. But as I saw, Tony, in our preparation, he's gone 3 games without scoring. I watched him as in the shoot-around today. Like I say, man, he's got a nice shot. He was really good in his post moves. How he can go 3 straight games without scoring a single point is amazing to me. Of course, I went a whole career without scoring a whole lot of points, so that shouldn't be too surprising to me.
Thomas with 3 tonight as he splits at the free throw line. Bengals up by a digit here. Or excuse me, Montana up by a digit. Parker deep in the paint, flips it up, can't get it. Thomas the board.
I tell you what, Parker is having an awful hard time, and he's getting a lot of touches in the paint. Third team all league. These guys know to get it to him, and he's having a hard time finishing a play down there.
A turnover by Montana.
Montana is coming off a game where they had only 10 turnovers against Idaho. Idaho State's coming off their last game where they only had 7 turnovers. So both teams do a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball.
Whitney breaks the paint. It eventually goes to Bannon. Doubled again. Under 10 on the shot clock. It's been a theme for a lot of this first half.
Boy,
Montana with it down, under 1, and a chase for Arrington. He gets it before the buzzer and draws the foul. That was critical for him to get that before the shot clock expired for the breakaway.
That was an odd play, wasn't it? I mean, for something that looked like just a plain old loose ball, you didn't really factor in the 3.
Idaho State got the win, and that's the longest gap in tournament games for any 2 teams in this conference.
Jared Rodriguez in now for Idaho State, a kid that was their leading rebounder, 3rd leading scorer before he got hurt after about 10 or 11 games. This is just his 3rd game back, and he's not played much in those 3 games, but he gives them a lot of help across that front line. A transfer from University of San Diego.
Well, he was expected to be a big part of this season. They were going to run their offense through him. But credit Idaho State for responding so well and still having a quality year. Losing such a key player. Another takeaway defensively for the Bengals. Arrington takes it right at Moody. No good here. Lee the O-board gets the bounce.
How about Kobe Lee?
We have 7 lead changes and 7 ties.
Kobe Lee at 6'9", 240 just went up and out-horsed everyone for that one. The BYU transfer. He played a lot of games down at BYU, but boy, that was a man-sized rebound there. There's that double team I was talking about with the rotation. Now they're stuck in a couple of different mismatches after that rotation. Let's see if the Grizzlies can take advantage.
Vasquez, no good on this attempt.
Right now, the execution of the Idaho State defensive game plan, you have to give a B+ or maybe even an A, but because they are giving the Grizzlies all kinds of issues on any post catch and their rotation out of it. Really nice, again, defensive game plan by Ryan Looney.
Lee out to Smaley. He'll launch and connect. Austin Smaley. What a great start for the former Idaho Player of the Year.
Smaley has scored in double digits. 2 of his. He's coming off a 10-point game. The guy that has set the career record for the most games played and the most minutes played as a Bengal.
Bannon fouled on the drive. That will send us to the under 4. Bengals by 5 here in the first half of the Big Sky Conference Tournament. Honoring him with a plaque and a wonderful tribute in front of all the fans here. It was a great moment here in the first half. We've had a lot of other great moments here in the first half on the court, Coach.
Well, this has been a hotly contested game. Idaho State up 5 now, but as you said, there's been 7 lead changes, 7 ties, Tony. This has been a back-and-forth affair.
Bannon tries to turn the corner, gets inside with that left, can't get it. Oki the O-board. Oki now gets it back and scores it. What a great possession by Oki. 38% of his rebounds are offensive rebounds.
And what a great pass once again for On and Mooney, the guy that you kind of think in your mind is just a shooter. That's his 4th assist of this first half, and man, he has made some terrific passes to baskets.
A steal defensively for the Montana Grizzlies. Down by 3 with 2 minutes left in this first half. Oki gets a 50-50 ball. Goes to the hands of Bannon. Strong take, blocked at the rim. Strong defensive play, Jared Rodriguez. Boy, they should be happy to have him back.
Well, Rodriguez, I thought, really showed a little rust on that offensive possession where he ended up turning it over. He didn't show much rust then, boy. He went and got that from that weak side, and that's just not some guy that was driving in there. That's Josh. That is Josh Bannon, the first team All Big Sky selection. How about Austin Smaley, Tony? 8 points. He has really heated up. 3 of 5, 2 of 2 from the three-point line, really helping his team. Here is the senior from Idaho State.
Moody, the step back.
Moody now with 9, leading his team in scoring.
Parker gets inside and scores. Parker now with 5.
And that was poor post defense by Oki there. He let himself get angled to the basket trying to make a home run play there and knock the ball, the pass out of Parker's hands, and Parker just simply turned around and took it right to the basket.
32-29, Idaho State in the lead here. We have had, as we talked about, 7 lead changes, 7 ties, some back and forth swings. But Montana, the #1 3-point shooting team in the Big Sky Conference, just 2 of 11 to start from the outside. Moody gets in for that mid-range floater off the glass, and Arnon Moody with 11 now in this game.
Not only was that a tough shot, but to get that and get it off the glass from about 8 foot, boy, I mean, he's showing you why he made the all-league team. He's having a terrific first half.
The 2-for-1 is gone, but they'll settle into one quality possession here. Mackenzie behind the back. Goes through the defense. What a first half for Brock Mackenzie. A perfect 6 for 6 and 16 points.
And he took an awfully good individual defender there, Josh Vasquez, off the dribble. Vasquez guarded that first move, the second move, and kind of gave up his stance, and Mackenzie took him right to the basket for an easy layup.
Moody for the tie. Wow. We are all knotted up here in Boise. Moody with 14, and fireworks continue to fly here tonight in the first game of our men.
He makes an adjustment and tries to counteract what the Bengals are doing defensively to the Grizzlies.
For Idaho State, the motto has been to keep sawing wood, no matter what the situation is. Keep moving through it. They had a 4-game losing streak. They were starting to head downward. They beat the regular season champion Eastern Washington Eagles and felt a number of good things coming around. Here's a drive across the paint, a floater, and it's good from Miguel Tomley. He was 0 of 5 from deep against Montana during the series. But he gets one there in the paint to start the second half.
And that is his first basket, the Bengals' second leading scorer, and coming off a pretty good game, 18 points in their loss over at Northern Colorado. Maybe he can get on track and give the Bengals that 1-2 punch from the guard position.
Moody goes back to Whitney, who will launch for 3. It's no good, and the rebound is going to come down to Nagel.
Jay Nagel at 6'9", 215 is their third leading rebounder on that Grizzly team.
Smaley may have been fouled and wasn't able to finish there. Josh Bannon from the top. He's going to try to bump and back down on Mackenzie. Takes him left, goes inside and scores. Josh Bannon, first team All Big Sky Conference. He's had 5 games with 10, 10, and 5.
Well, that happened because Austin Smaley got knocked to the floor and was late getting back in transition. So the Bengals had to try to make up, and they were playing 4-on-5 there for a minute and ended up with that mismatch.
Another empty trip here as Jay Nagel's off the mark. On and Moody, 14 first half points. Bannon with 6 goes over to Martin, and he misses on this 3-point attempt. He hit his first one of the night. 37% 3-point shooter. Tied up at 36. Into the paint, Mackenzie. Goes to Parker, smashing into Thomas and scores. Braden Parker, the first player coach Looney recruited with this program.
Well, he played 1 year at College of Southern Idaho. He's from Preston High School, both he and Smaley. But that is his calling card offensively. He bumps you with that big 250-pound body.
Bannon, a two-hand jam. What a great delivery from Moody.
What a great delivery from Mooney is right, and someone missed a rotation there for Bannon to be that wide open. The Bengals, what they're doing defensively, again, is all about their rotations, and it has to really be precise, or they give up a wide open shot like you just saw to Bannon.
Moody in the paint. Thomas, no. The putback, yes. And the foul.
And that was simply because they gave up dribble penetration. If you let the ball get dribbled to the paint, bad things are going to happen if you're the defensive team. That time, the big guy had to come over and help because of that dribble penetration, and no one was there then to block out Deshaun Thomas.
You mentioned, historically, the Grizzlies great as the 4th seed, winning the tournament each of the last 2 times, including that 2010 year. They had a slow start similar to this one. They won 6 of their last 8 to finish the regular season, took it all. This season, started 3-6 and have won 7 of their last 8 coming into the tournament. They lead by 3. Mackenzie misses for the first time tonight, tried to tie it up. Smaley can't get this one to go. A rough start to the second half shooting for the Idaho State Bengals.
Boy, that was a great rebound by Smaley at 6'5" there, but he just couldn't make it go back in on the putback.
Whitney makes it a 5-point Montana lead. Timeout, Idaho State. And the Grizzlies off to a quality start, 7-0 run. Here he said honesty is going to be your best ticket to improvement or to ever hitting elite play. He's as hard on himself as anybody else, and he loves to drive and lead this team. He's had a nice start to the second half.
Well, first team all-league. He's 3rd in rebounding in the league, 5th in assists, maybe the best big man passer in the league.
Mackenzie fouled on the drive, but also on the shot. He'll go to the line to shoot 2, but Bannon, who had a left wrist injury, it kept him from shooting, and it hurt the team there for a bit. He was actually preparing to shoot with his right hand if he ended up at the free throw line.
Well, he's a hard guard because he's really good with his back to the basket, as you would think. The 6'10" guy is on a low block, but we've seen him about 3 to 4 times catch it on the perimeter and drive it under control, drive it to a draw and kick, or drive it all the way to the rim. He actually sometimes plays as their small forward when they go with a real big lineup. So that gives you a little indication of how talented he is at the offensive end.
Speaking of talented on the offensive end, Moody is certainly that guy. Martin gets it back to Moody. Here's Bannon on the block against Mackenzie. He's doubled. Now Deshaun Thomas at the top. Here comes Whitney. Cut off by Parker. Goes back to the middle. Gets it to go. And the foul.
And once again, kind of a mismatch there. You got Parker trying to guard the other team's point guard there on, and that's definitely a mismatch there. And that is kind of the liability of what the Bengals are doing defensively is when they rotate, they're going to end up with some real bad mismatches like that. And the Grizzlies here in the first 3.5 minutes are bringing it big time at the offensive end.
Whitney hits the free throw. He now has 9. 13 games with 10 or more, shooting 50% from the field during that.
Whitney's coming off a good game, 20 points.
Parker spinning and scoring. Braden Parker, who, by the way, did not get to the free throw line in 6 of his last 8 games. We talked about it, 2 points in each of those matchups against Montana. Now he has 9.
Braden Parker, for all you older fans there, think Billy Pulse, the Whopper, and that's what Braden Parker looks like when he plays.
Onan Moody has now hit 3 of his last 5 from deep. That's 60%. And he's been shooting 50% from 3 over his last 8 games. Smaley answers to cut it down to 5.
Tough finish for Smaley. Double digits now for Smaley, a guy that doesn't score in bunches. He only averages 6 points, but he's had double digits 3 of his last 4 games now.
It's a 5-point game. 15-14 left to play here in regulation. A great back. Coach Looney and company picked to finish dead last in the preseason rankings. And boy, did they surge forward this year. It's become 5th in the league in dealing with the injuries to Jared Rodriguez, the broken thumb to Colby Lee. What a fabulous job done there by Coach Looney. And now we have an offensive foul called against Idaho State here.
A foul on that handoff. You've heard me talk about this before. The dribble handoff has become such a big weapon in college basketball, but because of that, you see an awful lot of offensive fouls because the guys don't get stopped as they hand the ball off, and if you continue on, that momentum usually takes you right into a defender, and that's exactly what happened. And the Bengals, on what should have been a huge possession, turn it over.
Montana has hit 4 of their last 5 from the field. Moody is off here.
I'm telling you, if that went in, I was going home because, man, that was an impossible-looking shot, but he has had a couple impossible-looking makes tonight. I'm so impressed. Montana's the only Big Sky team I didn't see this year, Tony, so I have not seen Moody, and, man, is he talented at the offensive end.
Colby Lee had 11 last time against Montana. Scores on this hook. What a beautiful move.
Colby Lee started over 30 games in his career down at BYU, and at that size, 6'9", 240, you let him catch it down that low, you better bring a lunch and a lantern because it's going to be a long night.
Playing with that broken thumb all year, but the coaches speak so highly of his work ethic and continuing to get after it and contribute to the team. Oki answers on the other end. It's back to 5.
Oki has given the Grizzlies a big lift off the bench. Big, old, good-looking, long-arm basketball body.
Arrington back to Lee, and Lee is fouled on his way up.
Boy, Arrington put that ball through a crack in the door. It was such a small space that he could have delivered that, and he was on the money, and Lee now at the free throw line. And he has really struggled shooting it in from the free throw line with that bad hand to the tune of 30%.
8 for 26. See, and now the broadcaster's jinx
in reverse. In the reverse.
Happy to help, Colby.
Yeah. I don't think he can hit this one.
Oh, yeah. Now, see, you're really pouring. Yeah.
I'm trying to help him as much as I can.
Did you ever do that to players? Say you thought they couldn't do something to try and galvanize them?
Oh, I've done a lot of motivational things, at least in my own mind. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work.
2 for 2 on that trip.
30% free throw shooter, and he hits both of them. How about that? After last night's game where we saw 2 of the best free throw shooters in the league miss at the end of the game.
Oh, I know.
How about that?
And a guy who came into the tournament who hadn't hit a 3 in nearly a month in Oakland Fort hits the game winner from about 30 or 35 feet.
I think
that's March, my friend.
That's what you call March Madness, brother.
Oh, it's way too fun. Brandon Whitney. Straight away to Bannon. He started to come alive here in this second half. Another patient possession here. It's at 5, and Whitney has 11.
Okay, Smaley just a little bit late getting over that ball screen. Boy, he made a great effort here. Watch him get over that and get just not quite squared up and give Whitney a lot of credit. That was a great finish. Chin off his chest, head up, coming off his 4th 20-point game of the year when they beat Idaho 68-53 in the last regular season game for them.
He is now over the 900-point mark. He completes the 3-point play. This guy had a slump when battling some illness to open Big Sky Conference play, but wow, has he come along.
Well, you got to give Travis DeCure an awful lot of credit. In his 9th year at Montana, the 2018 Coach of the Year, but they really struggled early. And, boy, he did all kinds of magic tricks to get them straightened out. And I'm telling you, they're playing pretty good basketball right now. Maybe the most momentum of anyone coming in.
And one! Mackenzie with the 3. A chance for a 4-point play. They've hit their last 4 shots.
I tell you, between him and Moody, they, like I said, are putting on a show. Josh Vasquez, who is an awfully good defender, was on Mackenzie like freckles on a redhead on that, and all he did was hit the bottom. Wow, these two guys are putting on a show.
Brock Mackenzie, 7 out of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from deep. A guy that was 60% from 3 his last 3 games.
His season high and career high are 7 made threes, knocking on the door of that right now.
It was a 4-point possession. It's a 2-point game. Deep in the shot clock once again. Whitney's had the answer a lot. And he has the answer again.
Great crossover by Whitney, right to left, little hesitation, a little shooky coming down the lane there. Man, oh man, is he coming to the Grizzlies' rescue.
My goal every broadcast is to find a way to get you to say shooky. It's my favorite phrase that you go with. A fadeaway from the base, no good. The rebound, fought for, grabbed by Montana, jump ball, they'll keep it. 11:51 left to go. You having fun yet, partner?
Boy, this is more fun than getting dirty here at the Big Sky.
School, maybe a dance recital, all the coaches as well as On and Moody have said it's not lip service, and that's why the staff is so loyal, and that's why On and Moody has felt so great playing right there at Montana.
Well, you gotta really tip your hat to Coach DeCure at creating that environment. Coach DeCure in his 9th year at Montana. His team won this tournament back-to-back years, 2018, 2019. He's done a terrific job there at University of Montana.
Well, it's so important when it's not lip service. When you say, hey, we want you to be where you're going to be, and fatherhood to be number one. Anna Moody said fatherhood is the very most important thing to him. And to watch him light up when he talks about his kids. The only person I think lights up more than that is you when you talk about your wonderful daughters.
Well, Moody missed a game this year for the birth of his 2nd child. So, as you say, Travis DeCure doesn't just give lip service to it. He backs it up.
Brandon Whitney, a terrific second half here so far. Going to work with a late shot clock again. Whitney finds Moody. He lets it go, and it's a long rebound. Scrambled for and picked up by Jay Nagel.
Boy, that was terrific individual defense by Arrington, the 6'3 freshman for the Bengals there. Whitney just couldn't shake him and get to the basket.
Okie called for this foul here. That is the 4th against Montana. Idaho State has 6.
It's a silly foul by Okie there. I used to tell my post defenders, you know, they don't get any points for just catching it down there. Okie would have been just fine letting him catch it and then making him try to score over him. Instead, he rode his back and just got a silly foul there.
Mackenzie has been scalding hot all night long, but he's off here.
Great rebound by Josh Bannon there up in the crowd. Watch him bring it to the length of the court like he's about 6'3", and then as I'm bragging, turn and throw it to me over here. He must have heard me bragging about it and knew who the best shooter in the gym was because he almost hit me right in the hands with it.
Well, and you were open.
Yeah, I was wide open.
Wide open.
You know, I thought he did everything right other than throw it out of bounds there, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And they were gapping you, too. I thought that was a bold move.
You know, he knew I'm from Indiana, the jump shooter's heaven. You know, Tony, when you grow up in Indiana, if you can't shoot a jump shot by the time you're 14, they make you move to Kentucky. No one wants to move to Kentucky, let me tell you.
Oh, and a loose ball foul called on Idaho State, and now we have a technical foul.
Making it go in, and you can just tell he's frustrated. 3rd team All-League, which is a real nice honor for Big Braden Parker. But, boy, he kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Well, and also, it is then the 7th and 8th team fouls, as well as the 3rd and 4th personal fouls.
Pretty good guy at the line now for the Grizzlies. That's 22 straight free throws Vasquez has made. He hasn't missed, Tony, in over a month to make that 23 free throws. He has a chance to finish as the all-time leading free throw shooter in the history of Grizzly basketball.
Kendall Manuel was 88.3%. Vasquez comes in at 91.1%. You mentioned that. He hasn't missed in a long time. His last miss January 14th. This guy's a pretty good free throw shooter, too.
Yes, he is. Boy, that could go down as a huge turning point in this game.
Front end of a 1-and-1, no good, though. And that jinx has continued both directions. Although Vasquez is bulletproof.
When someone gets to the free throw line, you just need to let me talk. Because you screw it up every time.
I really do. Mackenzie, the step back. He has had it dialed in all night long. Mackenzie with 24.
He might have got away with a little Michael Jordan shove off there on that one because he created a little space with that left arm. But you're right, he hit nothing but the bottom.
Moody answers on the other end. Both 11s have been just spectacular tonight.
Just back and forth and back and forth. Brock McKenzie's high for this season is 30, and Mooney has hit 26 two different times, actually in back-to-back games. They're both well on their way to their season high.
They go to Colby Lee. So work against Thomas. Forces it up and gets it to go. Colby Lee now in this game with 8 points.
Colby Lee just big and physical down there, just bullying his way to the basket on that one.
Moody with space. And now slicing through the defense. What a move by Arnon Moody, who now has 21 to go with 5 rebounds and 6 assists.
And boy, he is having a big time, isn't he? Watch him grin as he runs down the floor. In my mind, I thought Mooney, because he leads the league in three-point shooting, was just a shooter, and he is just a shooter that can do a whole bunch of other things with the ball, too.
What a poke away by Thomas. Colby Lee had it. Now here comes Whitney, making all the moves. But he'll circle it back out. Here comes Moody, who continues to put on a show.
What a great move, though, by Brandon Whitney, knowing when to push the pedal to the metal, and when to back it out. A great decision and a great assist, and Mooney just finished off the play.
The fans in maroon up onto their feet here. The biggest lead is now 8 for Montana. Look at this. Starts with the great defensive play.
Well, great hands here by the very active Grizzly defense and great hustle pickup. But here is great decision by the veteran Whitney, and Mooney, just not to be denied, is just lighting the scoreboard up.
Oh, an offensive foul. Or no, excuse me, this will be defensive. I thought they called an offensive foul on Colby Lee there. Instead, Vasquez called for the foul. That is team foul number 6. The official was pointing at Vasquez. I thought he was pointing that the ball was going the other way.
Vasquez having a hard time. Boy, what a great screen read that was by Mackenzie. Mackenzie faked inside of that screen, got Vasquez to bite on the bait, and then faded the screen to a wide open three. Such an intellectual play there by Mackenzie, and of course then he had to knock down the three.
Both teams have now hit their last 3 field goal attempts. Bannon double. Thomas over Lee. It's now 4 of their last 4 for the Grizzlies. The lead is 7.
Both teams shooting way over 50% now, which is a little bit surprising because I loved what the Bengals were doing defensively early. Montana always and always has hung their hat on their defense, and this is like 2 teams playing down to rec center right now, up and down and shooting it in. Wow, is this an entertaining college game.
Nagel. No. Bannon, the board. For Bannon, his 7th rebound of the night. Moody has been red hot.
You know, I'm not sure Mooney has taken a bad shot yet. He's taken some tough shots for someone else, but for him, he really has not been selfish or really hunting his shot.
And that light is green here tonight for Montana. Vasquez. The lead is 10. Timeout, Bengals. Grizzlies in command. 6:48 left to play.
Basketball by Montana, and that is why they have been on this run and are leading by 10 points now with under 7 minutes to go.
Montana has hit their last 5 shots. And Idaho State, who's had some really bright moments tonight, trying to put together a good stretch here. Arrington gets it back to single digits.
And what a nice play coming out of that timeout from the Idaho State bench. A little slip of the screen, consecutive back cuts, and Arrington with an easy basket and a nice pass by the big post guy, Kobe Lee.
Late in the clock again. They've been used to this tonight. Moody nails it. Anand Moody with 25.
Only 1 point away from his season high. He had 26 in back-to-back games, in conference games against Northern Arizona and Northern Colorado. And he has been lighting it up here tonight.
In the first half of the season, Moody, 13.4 points a game. The second half of the season, 20.7. Martin goes back to Bannon. They've got the mismatch. Bannon, drop step, foul. And the Grizzlies continuing to flex their muscles here with this offensive execution.
Well, and you kind of live and die with that switching everything, which is what the Bengals have done. They switched that ball screen, and they ended up with Smaley on Josh Bannon, and just too much of a size differential. Bannon just too smart and too schooled in that low block play. But that's what got the Bengals, what really got them going was switching everything there in the first half. And remember, I said, will Travis DeCure make an adjustment at halftime? And I think they certainly have. As soon as they saw that mismatch coming off that ball screen, they pulled it out and went right inside to Bannon.
The Braden Parker loose ball foul and then technical foul, enormous. Not just the 2 free throws, yes, but it was his 3rd and 4th foul, and it took him out of the game.
Yes, yes.
The biggest lead is now 12. Jared Rodriguez up against Josh Bannon. Gets him off his feet, and he's fouled before the shot. This will be a 1-and-1 opportunity at the line.
Bannon, really good defense there. Other than leaving his feet there, he stayed down, stayed between his man in the basket. Rodriguez is one of those guys who's going to give you multiple moves in the paint. You've got to be disciplined enough to stay down, guard the first one, guard the second one, stay down. And that time, Bannon, who is a good post defender, took the bait and got up off his feet. One of the guys that has been kind of missing in action a little bit is Tomley for Idaho State. With their second leading scorer, only has 2 points. He averages almost 12 for him, and in fact, he's only attempted 3 shots the whole game.
A big empty trip at the line, missing the front end of the 1-and-1. Whitney gets it to the block. Bannon goes to Vasquez. Vasquez splitting defenders, but can't get this. Here's Tomley with the rebound. Idaho State trying to take advantage of the numbers. A corner 3. It's Smaley, and it's off. Thomas the rebound, and Deshaun Thomas has 8 rebounds tonight. So does Bannon.
Well, that was a tough miss for the Bengals there. That was wide open for Smaley. Smaley, normally a pretty good 3-point shooter. In fact, he leads the team in 3-point shooting, and he's not going to get one more wide open than that.
Moody guarded closely. It's back to Moody. He's open and nails another one. Anand Moody with 28 points, and the lead is ballooned to 15.
New season high for Moody. Wow, has he been putting on a shooting exhibition.
A 12-2 run. 4 minutes left to play in this game. The Montana Grizzlies up by 15 as it's getting late. 4 of 9 from deep, as you mentioned. And leading all scorers with 28. Brock Mackenzie on the other side with 27. And at the line, it's Miguel Tomley, the 6'3 sophomore from Surrey, British Columbia.
Tomley coming off his 19th double-figure game of the year, 18 points and 3 assists in their loss over in Greeley to University of Northern Colorado, but has been very quiet tonight with just his 3rd point. Idaho State coming out with a hard press here.
Numbers for a moment, but Vasquez will back it out. Montana has had patient possessions all night, but this time it's a turnover. Here comes Mackenzie.
Vasquez.
The pull-up. Mackenzie nails it. He has 30.
And that ties Mackenzie's season high of 30. These two guards are just putting on the darndest show I've seen for a long time.
Bannon had to recollect there. The lead's down to 11. Montana going to try to take care of the ball. They have 4 free throw shooters who are at 85% or better. Bannon inside, and an offensive foul. They get another turnover, that being Idaho State.
Josh Bannon, too old season to fall into that trap where he left his feet there. Most seamless. Credit John Casper and the Big Sky office. John Casper, the tournament director, and this is not his first rodeo. He's done this many times, and it has been as smooth as a baby's bottom in the first 3 days of the tournament.
It'll have to be the best 3 minutes for Idaho State on the year, but this miss here by Tomley, the loose ball rebound knocked out of bounds to Montana. Here comes that defensive pressure again.
Now they got a turnover at the half court situation. They didn't get it at the full court situation last time they were in there. Tony, one of the reasons this game has been very entertaining, very well played. Montana with only 5 turnovers, Idaho State with only 6 turnovers. You know, in a game that has been played at this pace and this hard, that's a terrific job by both teams taking care of the basketball. Three top guards in for Montana here to try to handle this pressure and take care of the basketball.
Whitney has had a fabulous evening, especially in the second half. When the shot clock's draining down, he has had the answer.
He is just kind of
Moody
running the show as well.
Goes to Bannon. The lead is back to 13.
And give Mooney his 7th assist. Mooney with 1 turnover, Martin with 1 turnover, and Bannon with 3. The other 2 guards have not turned the ball over for the Grizzlies all night.
Mackenzie has 30. They need this one. A foul is called. It's underneath against Montana. And that'll be team foul number 10. Double bonus here.
Idaho State's got to get some stops here. In fact, they've got to get several stops down 13 with 2:16 left.
Brock Mackenzie, a guy at Point Loma, helped them win the conference title, where he hit a buzzer-beating 3, banked it in. He said it was a fitting moment. He was struggling that year mentally. He was trying to break through, and he just simply decided to enjoy the ride, not overthink it, not think about the struggles and the stress. Trust the work that he put in. Not only did he help that team win the championship, he went on to eventually end up here at Idaho State and was such a vital part of this team's success as they overperformed what they were predicted to do. Here's Daxton Carr at the line for 2.
Well, Mackenzie ended up being honorable mention all-conference. Could have very easily been on one of the 3 all-conference teams. So many of those teams, Tony, want first to second, second to third, third to second. There's always a couple names that are interchangeable. If you're on the second team, you could have very easily been on the first team. It's a tough thing to try to pick the best 5, the second best 5, because, again, there is a lot of very talented players, especially this year in the league.
Whitney triple teamed up that sideline. Loose ball, scramble for, jump ball. It goes to the Bengals.
That's twice they've turned Montana over in that full court pressure.
Excuse me, there may have been a timeout called. I thought they had a jump.
The last couple minutes, and then we had that photo finish where NAU beat the number 1 seed yesterday on a 30-footer at the buzzer, and that was a Sports Center highlighter there.
Sports Center top 10, no place like first place. It was right at the top. Oakland Fort with the heroics here in this tournament so far. Idaho State was hoping for some fireworks late, but a costly turnover here. We'll give Montana the ball back.
And that was a set play to go right into Braden Parker to try to get him going. And Deshaun Thomas, outstanding post defense there, sticking with physically with Braden Parker, who's 250 pounds. That was really good defense.
A full court press up ahead, and Bannon is fouled. He'll head to the free throw line. He has 12 points here tonight. Double figures now in 18 of his last 21.
Eighth in the league in free throw percentage is the big Aussie, 6'10", 222 pounds. Carson Tout is an awful good passing center for NAU, Northern Arizona. This kid may be a little bit better. He's 5th in the league in assists and 5th in assist to turnover ratio. And for a 6'10" center, that may not be love, but it ain't bad, brother.
A Clipper fan growing up, but he knew Montana was the right place. His parents were on a hike there in Missoula. They were walking the M, and friendly people walked up to them, talked with them, and they knew a lot more about him than they realized, but also they were so friendly. And they loved the area of Missoula, how great the campus is, and the whole community. Coach DeCure and company, they put together a really great team that if they're able to win here, it'll be 8 of their last 9, as hot as anyone. 3-6 to start conference play. Here's Mackenzie back to the line. What a terrific night, although he's off on this free throw. 5 of 6.
Brock Mackenzie had 30 points, a season high at the University of Idaho. If he hits this one, he sets a new season high in his last game in a Bengal uniform, and now he has 31. Coach Ryan Looney substituting offense and defense. Now he's got his best athletes on the court in the defensive end. Look for Mackenzie to get back in at the offensive end.
Moody harassed, stripped, and stolen. It's Malik Arrington. He's known as the ball hawk of this team, and he's cut it to 9.
4 steals against Eastern Washington in that upset win. The Bengals ended Eastern Washington's 18-game winning streak. He really does have a nose for the ball, does Malik Arrington.
Arrington fouls Brandon Whitney here. Brandon Whitney. So many key moments in the early part of this second half, Coach. The clock was getting late, and whether he was giving it to a teammate or making a play for himself, he just seemed to push all the right buttons.
You know, it's interesting. He's only 3 assists away from getting to 200 in his career, and as well as he's played tonight, looking at the stats, he doesn't have a single assist, but he's done that. Boy, he's really ran the team well for a guy that doesn't have a single assist.
It's hard to believe.
That is
with
hard
how well
to
he's
believe.
controlled the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe some hockey assists tonight.
He's 13th in the league in assists. He's coming off a 20-point game, his 4th 20-point game of the season. And he has passed, as you mentioned earlier, the 900-point mark in his career tonight.
Montana shooting just 30% from 3, but 81.3% from the free throw line. They have the 9th best free throw percentage in Division I. Colby Lee right at the rim with that dunk.
Really nice pass by Brock Mackenzie. Yeah, he and Moody both have scored a bunch of points, but they have done some nice job of passing the ball and distributing it.
Moody over to Vasquez. That hot pressure defensively. from Idaho State, resulting in a foul. Boy, and it's pick your poison when you're trying to figure out who you're going to put to the free throw line. And if Whitney's your choice, he's 74%.
Well, the league's leading free throw shooting team. They broke the school record for free throw percentage in back-to-back seasons. They're 9th in the nation in free throw shooting at 78%. Pretty good way to finish games, Tony. If you got 3 guards on the court that can all shoot free throws that way, you sleep a whole lot better as a head coach.
Well, it's like closing a game in baseball. If you have that lights-out closer, you shorten that game by 3 outs, you can feel how it impacts the rest of the game as well.
Yes, and they step up with such confidence across the board to the Grizzlies when they get to the free throw line.
Inside, Jared Rodriguez. Still a 9-point lead. Bannon harassed by a trio of defenders. In the backcourt, will use one of the 2 remaining timeouts.
9-point lead for the Grizzlies. And watch Ryan Looney on the sideline. He's coaching like it's a tie game with 30 seconds.
His final year of college basketball. Here with the team he's connected with so incredibly well. It's a 9-point lead. Now remember, under the recent rule change, Montana has just 3 seconds here to get the ball across half court. Goes into the backcourt. Whitney's got to hurry. It's a 10-second violation? No, it's not called.
Good thing you didn't have a whistle. You'd called that.
Well, I would have. I was right on the half-court line. And another timeout, Montana. I haven't checked with the ref before the inbounds against Montana. Montana has had just 1 double-digit win out of that 7 out of 8 stretch that they've had. And it was Brandon Whitney with the game winner against NAU. He had 10 points, 6 assists. They go to inbound here. They can throw into the backcourt. They do. Moody back over to Bannon. Bannon gets it over the timeline just in time. Deshaun Thomas blocked at the rim. Shot clock violation. It'll go back to Idaho State. I believe they're going to fix the clock here for just a moment. And school categories, they ranked around the middle in all of them.
Yeah.
But that is a massive improvement compared to what this team was.
Well, picked last, finished 5th. I think you got to give Ryan Looney a whole lot of credit for the job he's done coaching his team.
Great pickup with Mackenzie, who flourished for this group. They dealt with a ton of injuries, a lot of adversity, and Mackenzie will end up misfiring on this jumper here. And the Montana Grizzlies are back to the semifinals. Travis DeCure and company have now won 8 of their last 9. It was tied at the half, and the Grizzlies surged